Okay, well, you asked for proof, so here's proof that I know what I'm talking about as far as like actual grappling stuff goes. Here's some wrestling stuff. I just graduated last year. I placed 4th in the state of New Mexico in my division for state. 4th ranked in the state of New Mexico. Here is the 1st place medal for a grappling tournament I did. Here's the 2nd place medal for another grappling tournament I did in the advanced division. Yeah, I mean, there's not really that much else that I could show you as far as proving that I train, but hopefully that got it out. My ears as well. This is called cauliflower ear. You can only get it from basically grappling. When you have lots of head-to-head contact on your ears, it causes these basically your veins rupture and your ear fills up with blood. You drain most of it, but then your ears become permanently disfigured and it hardens like this. So I have trained many years in terms of martial arts and stuff like that, and I think my opinion matters. I'm not saying that my opinion is infallible, and that's the reason why I gave the opinions of Boss Rutan, who is a self-defense instructor. He is a UFC Hall of Famer, a former MMA champion, world champion in multiple organizations. I gave the opinions of Damian Maia, who is a 6th-degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is one of the most respected martial arts in the world. He is a grappling world champion, and he's submitted some of the top guys in the UFC. So these are guys that are really good at what they do, and they do the technique as I'm going to describe it in a second. Okay. Can you see that? It appears that you can. So I'll try to keep this brief, right? So this position right here is the starting position that you would normally attack a rear naked choke from. This right here is known as a seatbelt. And the reason why is because it goes across your body almost as if it were a seatbelt, right? This is the starting position to perform a rear naked choke from because it allows you to control the body. If you just have both hands over like this, you're not controlling the body and the person can try to slip their head out. So this underhook right here, it's called an underhook when you're underneath the arm. This allows you to control the body, okay? So I have the seatbelt position. I'm going to come across here. I'm going behind their head and assisting the choke with mine. I'm going to squeeze, doing sort of a scissoring motion right here with my arms in order to get the submission and suffocate the other person. Okay. So your arm has to go in the crook of the arm right here. Some people, based off of how they do it in WWE or in the movies, will just do it here, and then they think this arm is just to control and they put their hand at the top of the head. That's not the case. You don't even just grab the arm, or however, this person just grabbed the arm and kept it at the top of the head. It needs to be in the crook of the elbow. You need to be scissoring because that makes it a lot tighter. Otherwise, it's just a one-arm rear naked choke, and this arm right here isn't doing anything. So, let me explain something. This person, this is a sitting down dummy, so it's difficult for me to explain it since this was a top-up, like stand-up style technique that this person did for the rear naked choke. But the person came here, and he basically shot here, grabbed his own arm without going in the crook, just grabbed it, and then held it. And if you're just strong enough, you're able to get the choke. But it's not a good technique. This arm is doing absolutely nothing, and the person would be able to push this above their head and try to get out if they actually knew what they were doing. But the person that he did it against didn't know what they were doing. It is disrespectful to call whatever that guy did trained, right? Because it's disrespectful to guys like Damian Maia, who I just talked about, who have spent their entire lives perfecting martial arts and trying to become the greatest martial artist that they could be. When you tell other people that aren't trained that they are trained and that they look trained, it disrespects it because it just ignores all these intricacies, and it's saying that somebody who is actually trained looks no better than somebody who isn't trained. That guy had horrible technique, right? It wasn't good technique. And it's just frankly disrespectful that you guys wanted to sit here and disrespect me because I stated this opinion that this guy did not look trained, right? Clearly, I know what I'm talking about, but that's totally besides the point because it doesn't matter if I know what I'm talking about. I could be just a normal guy. As far as I'm concerned, I am just a normal guy because I'm just a kid and I have so much more to learn. This is my passion, but I have so much more to learn, and I'm not an expert on this, which is why I talked about Boss Rutan, who is an expert on this stuff. And I talked about Damian Maya, who was another expert on this stuff, and I used their opinions, and I showed how they do the technique differently from how this guy, who has never trained a day in his life, does the technique. That Redditor said the employee is the only person who was actually trained in fighting. None of the people in that video were trained in fighting. You can tell, it's painfully obvious if you have ever watched and studied the very minute differences between the various different grappling positions. You know what I mean? If you watch MMA and you pay attention to the grappling exchanges and you try to learn what's happening, you'll see very quickly why it's wrong. I recommend that you actually join a gym. This is what I did because I've always been a fan of mixed martial arts and I wanted to be able to understand this stuff better. I joined an MMA gym and then I got experience in that, and then that brought me to a level where I feel confident enough to be able to explain the differences between these positions. And it's painfully obvious that this person doing a rear naked choke did not know how to actually execute one. So I think it's very disrespectful that you guys come at me. You guys are just some fat slobs on the internet that don't know anything about this stuff. You come at me and tell me that I'm basically you guys. You tell me that I'm trying to act like I'm so badass or whatever, when I'm not. You come to me and say that I'm trying to act like I know what I'm talking about. I'm not. I'm just saying that this guy's not trained. But you guys come at me, you guys start mass downvoting me and stuff like that. Why? Now, you guys are probably going to come at me and say, why do I care so much? And it's because I'm neurodivergent. My mind doesn't think like other people's do. And that's not, oh, r/I'm very smart. I'm not claiming to be smart. I'm saying my mind doesn't work normally. I have ADHD, I have OCD. At one point, my dad wanted to see if I have Asperger's, but I said that I don't really care enough for that diagnosis, right? So I'm not saying I have self-diagnosed Asperger's. I probably don't, but it shows that people think that I'm weird in terms of the way I think. I don't think like a normal person. So it's frankly just you guys not understanding the way I think and the way I'm trying to articulate this stuff to you when you guys say that I have all of these ulterior motives and I'm trying to act like I know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to educate you guys, and you guys just want to be disrespectful. So I really would appreciate it if someone, at least someone here, apologized to me and stopped being so rude. You guys want to say that he's trained, but I'd love to see the evidence of it. Show me one trained person doing anything even resembling that. It's seriously indistinguishable from how an actual trained person would perform a rear naked choke. That person was doing a WWE sleeper hold because that's what he's seen. That's what he sees them do in the movies. He's maybe seen, he's maybe watched a couple UFC fights and then just imitate what they do, like improperly without training. He's not moving like a trained person. He's not. So what you guys fail to understand is that not everybody who speaks up on fighting is trying to act like they're some badass. There's so many people better at fighting than me. There's probably people in that very comment section that could kick my ass. But as far as this technique goes, I am familiar with the technique and I know that he's doing it fucking wrong. So fuck off. I hate how you guys need to be so disrespectful and you guys need to talk shit about me and you guys need to say all these names and stuff like that. Like, seriously. It's so annoying because it's like, all I did was I pointed out a fact. Another person pointed out a fact too. Somebody who clearly was experienced in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from their post history and stuff like that. And you guys downvoted that person too. I pointed out the fact that this dude wasn't trained and then you guys came at me. So fuck off.